Hey, Dad, there's something I want to tell you.
What's up, sweet girl?
My friend Alex is getting bullied all the time at school.
I'm so sorry. Do your teachers or anybody do anything about it?
No.
What about you? Do you stand up to the bullies and say stop it?
No.
Cease, what about it?
I am just too mad about it, that she's getting bullied every day.
But you guys don't talk to the bullies and say cut it out?
No.
Why not?
Because we're too scared.
Of what?
That we're gonna get bullied too.
Yeah.
That does sound like a crazy dilemma. You know, I think I have just a story you guys need to hear. Well, I'm going to get to it, little Miss Crazy.
It goes back to Rebecca's womb. It doesn't end there as you would assume. While one became the namesake of God's chosen ones, our story gets its start with the other's grandson. We first find out of this lineage of the nation who came from Eliphaz. The children of Amalek became a nation, but the battle of these people had just begun. When Moses led the children to the promised land, the Amalekites attacked to stop their plan. But by God's grace, Joshua led the stand, by the staff raised up in Moses' hand. Centuries later, a new struggle would arise, with a disobedient king looking for a prize. He was commanded to end Agag and the Amalekites, but Saul, son of Kish, couldn't get that right. So because Rael's king did not obey, his family lost the crown in a tragic way. While it shifted from Kish to Jesse's twine, God made a plan of redemption for the original line. Centuries more later, having covered the history, we set up a new battle of the two sides' legacy, with the line of Agag and the line of Kish, fighting in a Persian backdrop with a brand new twist.
So what happened is the Israelites, they were captured by a group of people called the Babylonians, right? And the Babylonians, in turn, then got captured by a bunch of people called the Persians. Okay? Now, living in the Persian capital of Susa, kind of like today, our capital is Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Well, living in the Persian capital of Susa was a man named Mordecai. He was a descendant of that same family of Kish. And he was raising his younger cousin, Hadassah, because her father, Abihail, and her mother had passed away. And he loved her. Mordecai loved his cousin as if she was his own daughter.
Her name's Hadassah?
Yes. So
I thought it was Esther.
We're going to get there, okay? But her name when she was born was Hadassah. All right. Now, while all this is taking place and Mordecai is helping Hadassah grow up, there's a king, right? The king of Persia. His name is Xerxes. And he was throwing the world's biggest show-off party, all right?
Are you sure?
Tons
the
of-
world's biggest?
At the time, yes. Persia was really huge, okay? And so King Xerxes, he was throwing off this huge, huge party, all right? He had a whole bunch of gold, he had a whole bunch of food, a whole bunch of art, all kinds of stuff.
Could they take it?
Do what?
Could they take it?
Could they take the stuff? Well, some of the gifts they were allowed to take, yes. Like that's what King Xerxes did, is he just liked to show off like how much wealth and power he had. Well, this party was so big that it lasted for 6 months.
6 months? What?
Yes, it lasted for 6 months. Okay? And here's the thing. After the 6-month party, they decided to wrap it up by having a dinner party that lasted for a whole week. Okay, 7 whole days. Well, at the very end of the last day of the dinner party, right, the king, King Xerxes, he ordered his queen to come out so he could show her off. Right? He was like, "Come, check out my beautiful queen. Isn't she so lovely?" Right? But here's the thing. The queen did something that you shouldn't do to the king of Persia.
What is it?
She said no.
Huh?
Yeah. And so what happened is this sent King Xerxes into a frenzy because queens don't refuse kings. What does this mean? So at the time, he got all of his advisors together and said, okay, what am I supposed to do with Queen Vashti?
The banquet's ruined, the wine has turned sour. I've been standing here waiting for nearly an hour. I sent for the queen in her crown and her pearls, but she's staging a strike in front of the girls. The nobles are whispering, they're starting to grin. How do I handle the mess that I'm in? Advisors, come forward, I'm losing my mind. What kind of solution can your clever heads find? Sire, the solution is clear. If she puts up a fight, get her out of your sight. If she's gonna be a bore, then she won't be queen anymore. Because if you give in to the queen, then our wives will get mean. They'll see the rebellion and they'll join in the team. When we command them and they say no, can you only imagine how bad that will go? You know, you have a point, it's a matter of state. I can't have the women deciding our fate. If I let her stay, then the virus will spread. I'll have no in the kitchen and no in the bed. She's a beautiful jewel, but she's losing her shine. If she won't follow orders, she's no longer mine. Our dear King Xerxes, you're our only hope. Please do not let Vashti's refusal become a slippery slope. If you let her stay, the chaos will grow. Every wife in the kingdom will start saying no. Save our houses, save our pride. Cast that rebellious queen aside. If she's gonna put up a fight, then get her out of my sight. Out of your sight! Oh, if she's gonna be a bore, then she won't be queen anymore. Not anymore, not anymore, not anymore. Because if you give in to the queen, then our wives will get mean. When we command them and they say
Vashti was no longer queen, which left the king in a very weird predicament. Because you can't just go on an app, order a new queen, and everything's all wonderful and beautiful, right?
Yeah.
No, they had to have a big search throughout the entire land, and Persia was huge. All right, really, really big. And so what they did is they sent out all these messengers called commissioners, right? They sent them out saying, we're looking for all these wonderful women who've never been married to come to Susa and be the next queen, to audition to be the next queen, right? Well,
Like you audition into a musical?
something like that, but just a little bit more pomp and circumstance. Anyway.
Saira, you did the right thing with Vashti and her banishing, but don't look so down, sire. We know just what you require. We'll go to all the land to find someone to take your hand, and the one who pleases you will be your wife and our queen too.
We need to find a queen.
We need to find a queen,
The best that Xerxes has ever seen.
the best he's ever seen. With Haggai managing, we know she'll look pristine. Commissioners go out, this be your messaging. We have to, need to, we must find a queen. Cousin, I brought you up as my own, so that you would never be alone. But now, my dear, it is time to go. Hadassah, be the star, Esther, I know.
But just one thing, and please don't fret. But who you are must be kept a secret.
Now go, my cousin, show them what you bring. And who knows, Esther, maybe you'll marry the king.
You need to find a queen. Need to find a queen. The best Xerxes has ever seen. The best he's ever seen.
Since her parents passed away, I always knew that someday
She will grow up to do many great things.
I just didn't think it would be the queen.
We need to find a queen.
We need to find a queen,
The best that Xerxes has ever seen.
the best he's ever seen. With Haggai managing, we know she'll look pristine. We'll know for sure next year, but one of the girls we've just seen will be our beloved King Xerxes' wife and our new queen.
She will be our new queen.
She will be our new queen.
All the candidates gathered in Susa. There they were placed under the care of a eunuch named Haggai. Now, a eunuch is he's a special person that helps the king out, that the king can trust very, very well. Okay? And what happened is these queen candidates, if you will, had to go through a whole year of beauty treatments.
Beauty treatments?
Yes,
What
a
are
whole
those?
year. So they had to get all kinds of oils and perfumes applied and eat special food. And I mean, just imagine this crazy chaos where you have hundreds of women all competing against each other to be the queen, right? And it takes a whole year. Well, it's kind of like when you go in the army, right?
Mhm.
And they put you through what's called boot camp, where you learn how to be a soldier. Well, this is kind of like a boot camp for queens, a queen beauty boot camp, if you will.
Rub on the oil, soak in the myrrh. The king will choose one of you, and you wanna be her. So come on, ladies, get those clothes damp. Oh, and by the way, welcome to Queen Beauty Boot Camp. Gather round, girls, listen to what I say. It's good to meet you, my name is Hagee. I am the king's eunuch and the task falls to me to spend this next year getting you ready to enhance your beauty and help in your bid to be the next queen of a kingdom. So rub on the oil, soak in the myrrh. The king will choose one of you and you wanna be her. You're doing great, ladies, take it like a champ. That's how you do well at Queen Beauty Boot Camp. Hello there, dear Esther, how is your day? I hope all these treatments find you okay. I hope you're that of these girls, I favor you. Don't tell anyone, but here's the secret menu. Now keep at those treatments, keep dipping the jar, because your body, like your name, needs to shine like a star. So spray out the perfume and decorate that face. You need to look like a queen, a lady of grace. So keep at it, ladies, give your face a new stamp. Make the most of your time at the Queen Beauty Boot Camp.
What if they find out? What if you know that I had to keep who I am a secret? I trust you, cousin Mordecai. I don't know if I can be brave, but I'll give it my best. No big deal, just have to please the king and pass this beauty test.
Okay, girls, now you're ready to go and meet the king. You have anything at your whim, just have something to bring. Esther, take my advice if you want your gift to amp. It's been an honor to have you at Queen Beauty Boot Camp. Good luck, my dear, to Shashka you go. I'll miss you, sweet girl, just thought you should know. The year is now over, to the chamber up the ramp. All my girls are now gone from Queen Beauty Boot Camp.
But while that was happening inside, Mordecai was outside. Every single day, he walked back and forth in front of the court, trying to get status updates on how Esther was doing. And inside, Esther was playing it smart. She had a secret weapon. She listened. She realized Hagee was the ultimate expert, while the other girls were demanding glitter. Esther asked Hagee, "You're the pro here. What do you suggest?" Hagee loved her humility and gave her the best of everything. By the time the year was up, Esther didn't need 100 necklaces to stand out. She had an inner glow. Like, she was so humble and she was so kind. Remember, like in that story Cinderella, where it said, "Have courage and be kind," and the king noticed? Well, same thing. Esther had that inner glow and that inner kindness, and the king noticed. When she was able to go into the throne room to finally meet the king, King Xerxes was blown away. He saw her character as well as her beauty and really, really liked her. And so he decided right there to make her the queen and present her to the people in the court and have a big party.
She is the one, she is the one, her beauty beyond what I can express. She is the one more than all the others, she is above all the rest. I want her, I need her here, right by my side. Go quickly now, get the crown and make her my bride. We'll have a banquet in your honor, and I know you'll do as I command. Unlike your predecessor, you can say you are now queen of all the land. So say hello to your queen, let me present her now. Gaze at her beauty and then take a low bow. Let's have a party, let's have a party. Invite all those important people. Let's have a party. This is my bride, the girl of my dreams, Vashti's sequel. Behold her, let it be known, I declare a holiday. Bring out the gifts, pass them all out across the land today. This is a day of great promise, my new queen is now right here. Her grace draws me and calls for a new start in my 7th year. So say hello to your queen, let me present her now. Gaze at her beauty and then take a low bow. Hello, my new queen, the star of my life. To gaze at your beauty and have you as my wife.
Now, for some reason, we're not quite sure why, but for some reason, the king had all of the queen candidates come back in for another round, probably just to fill other jobs in the kingdom, right? Well, while that was going on, Mordecai was hanging out by the king's gate, all right? And he overheard 2 guards. Their names were Bigthana and Teresh. And they were plotting to kill King Xerxes, right? So the king's own guards wanted to kill the king. So you know what Mordecai did?
Told on them.
Exactly. He got word to Queen Esther and said, hey, these 2 guards were trying to kill the king.
Esther, listen, the news I have is fresh. There is a horrible plot, a terrible something. These 2 guards, Bigthana and Teresh, they plotted by the gate to kill the king. You have to tell the king, you have to do something. Save Xerxes, your husband, or chaos will spread across the land. You have to do something.
My king, listen, the news I have is fresh. There is a horrible plot, a terrible something. These 2 guards, Bigthana and Teresh, they plotted by the gate to kill the king. I had to tell you, my king, you have to do something. Save yourself, please, my husband, or chaos will spread across the land. You have to do something.
Gods, find out this news that's fresh. Confirm this horrible plot, a terrible something. Seek 2 gods, Bigthana and Teresh. I have reports they seek to kill me, your king. Do it now, I am your king. You have to do something. See what these gods have planned, or chaos will spread across the land. You have to do something. My
my lord, our report is here and fresh. Confirmed a plot, a terrible something with two gods, Bigthana and Teresh. They are plotting to kill you, our king. Tell us what to do, our king. We have to do something. These gods look to kill you by their own hands, to spread chaos across this land. We have to do something. I have this idea fresh, inspiration in my head rings. Take these two gods, Bigthana and Teresh, impale them on poles for me, your king. I've told you what to do for your king. You have to do this thing. Take these gods, impale them so grand, so that chaos doesn't spread across the land. You have to do this thing. You have to do this thing. You have to do this thing. You have to do this thing.
And that was the end of that. But the most important thing about this, though, it was written down in the record books that Mordecai was the one who saved the king. Again, you need to remember that little note for later, okay? So, several years passed, and along came a guy named Haman. Now, you remember King Agag, the one that had his head chopped off by Samuel when Saul was supposed to do it, the king of the Amalekites? Well, some of his kids escaped when the Israelites attacked. And they had children, and they had children all through hundreds and hundreds of years. Well, one of those descendants from Agag on down was Haman, right? So Haman was his descendant. King Xerxes, you know what he did?
What?
He made Haman the second in command of Persia, right? So kind of like the vice president of Persia, right? That was his job. And he had a position of power that was greater than any of the other important people in Persia. And he had all the people bow down to him, right? So King Xerxes said, "This is Haman. You will bow down before him." Well, you know who didn't bow down to him? Mordecai. Mordecai refused. He wouldn't bow down to an Amalekite. The other people at the gate pleaded with him, terrified that Mordecai would get in trouble. And they kept saying, "Mordecai, bow down. Mordecai, bow down."
Mordecai, bow down. Mordecai, bow down. Why do you not obey a command from the crown? Do you not know whose presence you're in? Let me tell you this. Let me begin. He's Haman! Who man? That man! Praise him louder, the son of the one and only Hamadatha. He's Haman! Who man? That man! The king's right hand man. So bow down before him now. It's a royal command. Mordecai, I get it, your principles and such, but make an exception. Don't be such a yutz. You do know that this man was appointed by the king to have power over you and me and, well, everything. He's Haman! Who man? That man! Praise him louder, the son of the one and only Hamadatha. He's Haman! Who man? That man! The king's right hand man. So bow down before him now. It's a royal command. Why won't he bow? That man is a fool. To stand and defy me, that is so not cool. He needs to be punished, that no good Mordecai, but not just him, no, all my king, grant me my petition. There's a group in our land who might engage in sedition. I will pay you 10,000 if you do this plan of mine. Get rid of all these people and make sure they die. Because I'm Haman, who man? This man is me. I'm the one who got the king to grant my decree. There's an important date, get it now on your radar, because dear Jews, you will die on the 13th of Adar. Because I'm Haman, who man? This man right here, in charge of the kingdom for Xerxes' 12th year. Keep standing, don't kneel, you fool Mordecai, because of your actions, you and your people will die.
Haman was so angry with Mordecai that he didn't want to just kill Mordecai. No, he wanted to kill all of his people, the Jews, right? And so you know what he did? He went and saw the king and tricked him, right, into signing this petition that said on the 13th day of the month of Adar, or about the end of February, early March, right, that all the people in the land had permission to go and attack the Jews. And the Jews couldn't do anything about it.
That's mean.
I know.
Yeah.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so you know what Mordecai did?
What?
Well, Mordecai did what was common back then. He put on rags and dirty clothes, and he went into the streets wailing and crying out loud. And word got back to Esther that this was going on. So Esther was concerned about Mordecai and gave him some fresh clothes to wear and said, "What's going on?" So Mordecai sent a message back to Esther and told her exactly what was happening and what Haman had tricked the king into doing. And he also sent Esther a message that said, "You need to go and tell the king about this." Well, there was one little problem. Okay? There was a rule that said if the king didn't call for you and you went and saw the king and the king didn't say it was okay, you could die.
That's
And-
what?
Yeah, and this applied even to the queen. Right? Can you imagine that, like, your mom couldn't come talk to me unless I said, "Amber, come see me." Right? That'd be nuts, wouldn't it? Well, that was the rule that they had in Persia. Nobody could talk to the king unless the king sent for them. Right? And that included Esther. And so Esther was taking a big chance if she went to go talk to the king. And Mordecai told Esther through a note saying that, don't assume that just because you're inside the palace that you're going to be exempt from this. Don't assume that because you're behind these walls that this is going to pass by you. And maybe you were given your position for such a time as this. And so Esther had a lot to think about, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The shadows on the wall are growing tall and cold. A story of a captive heart is waiting to be told. You're looking at the mountain, wondering why it's in your way. But the dust of every struggle led you to this very day. The silence in this place, the whispers in the hall. You were never meant to hide behind a fortress or a wall. For such a time as this, you were called by name. ripple in the water that the heavy current makes. The world is holding its breath for the light you're gonna give. You were born, you were made for such a time as this. If you remain silent, the stones will start to cry. The moment is fleeting, don't let it pass you by. You don't need to see the ending to take the final step. There's a promise in the breathing, there's a power in the depth. Step into his light, step into his light. For such a time as this, you were called by name, out of the ashes and into the flame. It's not a coincidence, it's not a mistake. You're the ripple in the water that the heavy current makes. The world is holding its breath for the light you're gonna give. You were born, you were made. Time as this, you were called by name, out of the ashes and into the flame. It's not a coincidence, it's not a mistake. You're the ripple in the water that the heavy current makes. The world is holding its breath for the light you're gonna give. You were born, you were made for such a time as this. For this time, for this moment, step into his light. You were made for such a time as this.
Chances?
She did. And Esther went to the king. And you know what? The king was happy to see her. And beyond that, he said, you know what? You can have anything you want. Even if you tell me to cut my kingdom in half and give it to you, I'm going to do it. That's pretty good news, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you know what Esther did? She took a page out of King Xerxes' playbook and threw a big dinner party for the king and for Haman. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so Haman and the king, they had this dinner party, and they ate the food and had all kinds of things, and King Xerxes was like, hey, Queen Esther, this was a wonderful meal. Thank you so much. Will you tell me what you would like? And you know what Queen Esther said? I'll throw you another dinner party tomorrow night, and I'll tell you what I want then. So a little confused, but still in good spirits. Everybody left the party, and Haman, he was so happy. He had an invite from the queen. He had a good job and everything, but you know what happened as he left the palace? He saw Mordecai, and it made him very, very angry because he hated Mordecai so much with every part of his being. He just couldn't stand him. So he went home, right? And shared about his day, how he got to have dinner with the queen and all of his thing. He bragged about his wealth, the fact that he had 10 sons. Good grief, I feel sorry for his wife. And his fancy job. And he told his wife, none of this matters as long as I have to see that man Mordecai sitting at the king's gate. Well, you know what? His wife, Zeresh, she had a dark solution to this problem.
You received an invite from the queen. Do you fathom what this even means? You have money, sons and bliss, and even me, your wife, Zeresh. But there is one man that you despise. It's that Jew Mordecai who is outside. You should be the happiest man alive, but his presence makes your age overdrive. Every time you see him, it makes you wail. battle, so why not get a pole and impale? Just ask the king if it is alright, and then we'll kill him tomorrow night. Because we have to make him pay for treating you in this way. I'm sorry he upset you and that you aren't alright, so that settles it. He will die tomorrow night. Go get the pole ready to impale, 50 cubits high, do not fail. We'll be rid of him out of our sight, because we'll make it happen. He will die tomorrow night.
So, Haman would get permission from the king the next day to kill Mordecai. But Haman didn't count on one thing. The king couldn't sleep that night. So you know what Xerxes did? He asked for the history book of their kingdom to be read to him. And you know what came back up?
What?
The story of how Mordecai saved the king's life. And King Xerxes asked his officials and said, "Do we ever do anything to thank that guy for saving the king?" And the officials said, "No, we didn't." So the king was like, "Well, we got to think of someone to thank this guy." "I got an idea. Haman will know what to do." So he invites Haman over before the dinner party and says, "Hey, man, just work with me here. Let's say that there's somebody that I want to honor, somebody that I want to pay tribute to. What do you recommend that I should do?" And Haman was like, "Well, he must be talking about me. Of course. Who else could it be?" And so he told the king, "Well, tell you what, have him put on some fancy clothes, put him on one of your finer horses, and parade him around the city, and have somebody shout about how great this man is." And the king was like, "That's a great idea. Go do it for Mordecai." Haman's face dropped. And so Haman had to go do all those wonderful things for the man he hated so much. And he also realized that because Mordecai had saved the king, Haman would have no chance of being able to kill him. He was so distressed, he went home and he told his wife what had happened during his day, about how he had to sing praises to Mordecai and all that stuff. And he also realized that once it came out that he had tricked the king into having Mordecai's people killed in a few days, that he was probably going to be in big trouble himself.
Behold the man and his great frame, of his good deeds I have to proclaim. Look at this man, what he has done. He saved the king, he's number one, because King Xerxes wants to honor this man. Oh no, I'm a goner.
My husband Haman, I can't believe. No wonder you sit here and you grieve. I must admit that things aren't looking good. Can you save yourself? I don't think you could. The time is short, my ideas are few. Oh no, the eunuchs are here to get you. Because we have to make him pay for treating you in this way. I'm sorry he upset you and that you aren't alright. I'm sorry, husband, I don't think he'll die tonight. The pole stands ready to impale, 50 cubits high, they did not fail. But I love that you're rid of and out of your sight. But now I'm not so certain that he will die tonight.
So they had their big fancy dinner, they had all the wonderful food, and then the king said, "Queen Esther, will you please now tell us what it is you want? Again, up to half my kingdom is yours." And Queen Esther what she did is she stood up and said, "My people are being targeted by a wicked man and are scheduled to be executed." And the king became so angry because how could anybody want to hurt Queen Esther's people? And so, so the king said, "Well, who is this man that tried to kill your people?" And Esther pointed right at Haman. This man, he's the wicked man. The king was so angry that he stood up and he stormed off outside to try to cool his head a little bit. Haman knew he was toast. And he begged Esther, begged her, "Please speak on my behalf. Please don't let the king kill me."
My queen, these I plead my case to you. These are your people I never knew. Please show me mercy. This I plead. By your good grace, I might be free. Please, my queen, my time is running few. Please, Esther, please, I beg you. I beg you.
At that moment, the king came back in from outside, and it looked like Haman was being mean to Esther, and the king let him have it.
Amen, you fool, you wicked guest. In my own house, my wife you would molest. Bag him, drag him, Haman, you are a goner. How should I dispatch him? Yes, Harbona, you say he has a pulley meant for Mordecai. Well then impale his body on it, make him die. Because we have to make him pay for treating Esther in this way. I'm sorry he upset you and that you aren't alright, so that settles it. He will die tonight. Go get the pole ready to impale. 50 cubits high, do not fail. I'll be rid of him out of my sight because we'll make it happen. He will die tonight. He will die tonight. That's it, Haman. Good night.
So after Haman died, you know what happened?
What?
Mordecai got Haman's house, and he got Haman's job. He became the second in command. There was still one little problem, though.
What was the problem?
Yeah.
Well, you remember that little order that Haman tricked the king into signing, saying that all the Israelites were going to be killed on the 13th of Adar?
Yeah.
Well, you know in the movie Wicked, those spells can't be undone?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the king's orders back then. Once the king made an order, he couldn't undo it. So Mordecai came up with this brilliant plan. He told the king, "Tell you what, give the Jews the ability to defend themselves. Say, yeah, you can go attack the Israelites, but the Israelites are allowed to fight back." And guess what?
What?
All the enemies that tried to attack the Israelites were defeated.
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah, the Israelites gained all kinds of respect. They were feared by their enemies. And so Queen Esther and Mordecai saved their people, the Israelites, saved God's people, the Israelites. And you want to know something kind of cool?
What?
So the Jewish people to this day celebrate that time with a day called Purim.
Period.
Yep. You know what it's named after?
What?
So when Haman was trying to figure out what day he was going to have the Jews be attacked, he basically did something like taking some dice and rolling it and picking a date that way. A little bit different, but kind of a similar idea. He rolled some dice. Well, that way that he rolled the dice was called Pura. And so basically, they named the day after his favorite dice game. So it'd be like if the story happened today, it would be like calling it the celebration of Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. But you never know. Just like Esther with the Israelites, maybe Alex needs your help, needs you not to worry about the consequences of if somebody's going to bully you, just to stand up for your friend. Because maybe you were placed in that person's life for a time like this.
Such a time as this, you were called by name.